need to work on yourself. You need to become the type of man with the abundance mindset that a woman is going to be attracted to, that she's going to want to have a relationship with. You have to become that guy. With a 50% divorce rate and most divorces being led by the woman coming there, you don't have a big survival rate, brother. You better know this girl. Hey everyone, this is Adam once again with a new video for you from Wanderings. Today's video is called How a Man Can Be Prepared for Marriage.
Franklin and Marissa.
Don't do it.
A couple days ago, I was hanging out with some buddies of mine on Saturday night, and there's a new dude there who's in his late 20s, and this guy was asking me, he said to me, Adam, I see your videos and stuff, and I know that you're somewhat of an expert in the subject of relationships and difficulties, etc. I have a big question for you. How do I know I'm ready to get married? First question I actually asked him was, of course, are you dating somebody? Like, is this a real question? And he said no, but he says, I feel like I'm ready for that type of relationship. How do I know I'm ready as a man to get married? And there are three big answers I have to this question, just from the side of a man, of what you need to do to prepare to get married. The three things are: know thyself, meaning is do the work. 2 is conquer any problems, addictions that you have in your life. And 3, vet the lady that you are dating. So the first one, of course, the big one, is know thyself. What is the reason that you want to get married? Is it because you feel lonely? Is it because you want to have children? Is it because this particular woman you're attracted to? Well, regarding the last one, it says in the book Beneath the Underdog, a book by Charles Mingus, the famous jazz bassist, you don't get married for no taste. You get married, you have a relationship with somebody because you have a deep connection with them and you see yourself building. You have common interests with that person. I don't need to tell all this, but I will anyway, that marriage is pretty much a broken institution. That 50% of the people who get married get divorced. And 70 to 80% of those marriages would split up. The woman initiates that. That's not saying it's always the woman's fault, but it's the woman who goes there. Generally, women nowadays don't have as much of a reason to get married as they used to, or stay married. Women can have children without getting married, or they could get married and have a child with somebody and then divorce them afterwards. So you see, because when a woman gets to a certain age, say like what we call the epiphany phase, her late 20s, she wants to have a child. So are you the guy that she wants to have a child with? Or does she just want to have a child? Because if it's the latter one, if you're like a beta guy, if you're like just like a dude who just happens to be there and she feels her body hormones, you see, I'm not a woman, but I know that women, their body starts telling them, you gotta get married, you gotta have children, you gotta have that now. So sometimes a woman will settle for a guy like in her early 30s or late 20s that she's not really interested in because she didn't really get the Chad that she wanted. And you may be that guy. And you may end up paying child support and not being able to see your kid or whatever. So you gotta know yourself. You gotta know, are you the type of man that women want? You see, there's a 20% of guys out there who are the strong alpha Chad type guys that every woman wants. And yes, a lot of women settle for the second type of guy, but you have to become the type of guy that has the highest level qualities, whether it's muscle, whether it's game, whether it's money, self-confidence. These are all things that you need to have. You need to work on your psychological problems, which is going to get into the second thing. You need to work on yourself. You need to become the type of man with the abundance mindset that a woman is going to be attracted to, that she's going to want to have a relationship with. You have to become that guy. A wise lady once told me, she said, you don't go out and find a mate, you attract one. You have to be able to attract a woman. It's not, there's this whole thing about guys chasing. You become a certain level of a dude that women just want to gravitate towards. That's what you have to work on. And if you haven't gotten it together with your career, with your money, with your looks, with your game, with your confidence, with your social skills, you're not ready. You got to do the work. You got to do the work. You got to be somebody that somebody wants to attach to, the type of man that somebody wants to attach to. That's number one thing. Are you spot on with your game? Are you spot on as a man? Number 2, men and women have their own avoidance techniques. And for men, the number one issue dudes have is they escape through addictions. And I'm not just talking about drugs and alcohol. I'm talking about video games, I'm talking about porn, I'm talking about all sorts of things which suck a man's soul. I'm talking about addictions. If you are still getting high all the time, drinking all the time, staying up late, doing pornography, addicted to the internet, any of these type of things, you are not ready to get married. You are not ready for a serious relationship. It will go south. You may end up being that type of lady that I spoke about, which is someone who just wants to have children, but you will get dumped and get used. Trust me, I've dealt with so many of these dudes who do not see their kids. They married a woman, they thought he was a lucky guy, and she ended up ruining him completely. Okay? So you gotta get your addictions in line. You gotta get the house in order, man. And this dude, actually, the funny thing is like later that night, I saw him, he was just getting high the whole time. He had all these different, products to get high. And I was like, dude, like, no woman, no normal woman is gonna put up with that. Sorry to say that. You gotta be a presence, you gotta be a man, you gotta be a leader, not an addicted D-bag, man. Sorry, bro. And number 3. This is, once you have that in order, you got your muscle, you got your psychological stuff going on, you got your game, you got your money, you got everything in order, you're living your life with purpose and meaning, a leader as a man. You can't just go out and get married after a few months. You have to become the prize. You have to become the person that the woman wants to connect to, and you need to vet her. Number 3 is vetting. You do not get married to somebody after a couple months. You do not get married to have sex. You get married after knowing somebody really well, hopefully a year. You're not going to see who somebody is until after you really know them. Like with a 50% divorce rate and most divorces being led by the woman coming there, you don't have a big survival rate, brother. You better know this girl. You better know her really well. You better know her. You better see her family. You better see her behavior. You better see her in all her bad behaviors and all that stuff too. And she's going to see your stuff too, brother. You have to see that she accepts you too, right? That's what you got to be. So you got to vet somebody. You got to really know somebody really well. You got to get past that infatuation love stage. When you feel you're not deeply in love or connected as much as you used to be, that's actually the stage you need to get to. You need to get through that middle stage where like the relationship takes some work, takes some effort, because that's what it's going to be like to be in a long-term relationship, but to be married to somebody. It's not going to be just a cakewalk. Is this somebody that's got good values? You got to see, how do they treat their family? How do they treat children? What are their interests? What are their long-term goals, right? How is she when she's stressed? What are her values around money, right? Is she a nice person? Is she treating the people around her nice, right? You got to ask yourself these questions. You got to live with this lady, man. You got to live with her, right? So those are the big 3 questions. Those are the things I answered this dude. What do you need to know? What do you have to have ready to be ready as a man? 1, get your house in order. Know thyself. Become the man that you need to be, right? Money, muscles, game, confidence, etc. A leader. 2, you got to get rid of your addictions, brother. You got to face that. And if you're dealing with that if you have addictions, that shows you have psychological stuff you got to work on. And number 3, date long enough to vet somebody, right? To look through what's really going on in this relationship, what's really going on with this girl. Once you have all those three things in order, then you can run the gauntlet, because that unfortunately is what marriage is these days. But there really is no other way to have children in a healthy way than having a 2-parent household. So I think the Institute of Marriage is great in theory, and it once was. Question is, nowadays, is it as great as it once was? I'll leave you to ponder that question. This is Adam Law with Wanderings. Thank you so much. Check out the rest of my videos. Please like and subscribe. I am available. I am a registered psychotherapist, a coach, a spiritual care expert, and I'm there to answer your questions. I'm there to help you, work you through your problems, and be in touch. Great. Thank you. This is Adam Law. Have a great day. Bye.